Hi guys, welcome to my channel. Alrighty, so in my last video I went over some recommendations for queer books to read in the month of Pride, but they were all centered around adult recommendations, and I said that I would be making a follow-up video about young adult recommendations, and this is that video. So yes, we are going to go through a bunch of recommendations for queer books to read during Pride Month that are YA focused. And much like the last video, we are going to be dividing this up into different categories, aka Achillean novels first, and then Sapphic novels, and then trans novels, and then finally honorable mentions. So anyway, if you like that, then keep watching and let's get into it. The first one on this list is Of Feathers and Thorns by Kit Vincent. This is a fantasy novel where this boy has developed magical powers, but he can't really, control them. He doesn't really know what to do with them, so he is sent to be taught by this like wise old wizard guy. But the so-called wise old wizard is missing in action, and the only one around is his first apprentice, a rather charming young man. And so the two boys have to team up, even reluctantly, because they don't really get along first, but they have to team up to figure out what the heck is going on, where the heck is their teacher, why has he been gone for so long, and ultimately uncover a plot that puts all of the magical world in danger. And, maybe develop a little thing for each other along the way. Now, I would say for this one, if you are somebody who wants like, queer romantasy, or if you are somebody who likes, fantasy and mystery combined into one, like I would say give this a chance because it is rather cute. It is rather fun. And I really did have a nice time with this one. Next is a rather popular novel, aka They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. This contemporary novel with a touch of sci-fi is about these two boys who live in this world where everybody receives a call on the day that they are about to die. Like it strikes midnight and in the death cast people call you up and be like, "Hey bestie, sorry to tell you this, but it's your last day on Earth. Sorry, bye-bye." So these two boys get a call on their end day that they are about to die, and then they meet each other for the first time and last time through this app that like connects people that are about to die on their end day. So they have like a little friend to spend the day with. They meet through this app and they just like spend the day with each other, getting to know each other, getting to know each other's trauma and everything, and getting to do things that they've always wanted to do but have never been able to do and will never be able to do again, and so on and so forth. Just spending the day together and developing a little crush on each other by the end. Now, number one, yes, this is, of course, insta-love. It takes place over one day. Of course, there's going to be strong feelings attached to people that, like, they know they're about to die by the end. And, like, you know that they die at the end. That's literally the title of the novel. But yes, of course there is insta-love, but I will say, even if you are somebody like me who does not like insta-love, knowing that it is inevitable and that, like, it's kind of par for the course with a novel like this, I will say I will say it is bearable and that the romance is quite cute. And I will say that the characters are very interesting, especially for, the duration of this novel. It's very interesting how Adam Silvera is able to get you really invested in the characters and make you really feel like you know them because, it takes place over a day. That's a very short time period. But it really is interesting how depthful these characters are and how interesting the plot is. Even if it is just, stripping everything away, live life to the fullest kind of novel. It's very interesting how depthful and thought-provoking this novel is, especially for a YA audience. And I will say, when I read this quite a few years ago, I read this back in like 2020, I want to say. I will say that I was crying by the end, and at the time, I really prided myself on not crying over anything. Like now, granted, 6 years later, I've changed, and I'm more in tune with emotions and everything. But at the time, back in 2020, I was like, I don't like to cry. I don't like to cry over anything. I'm not going to do that. So the fact that this book actually got me to break at that point is like, yeah, yeah, bonus points for that. It did a good job. Now, have I read the other two novels? Tried to read the prequel. I DNF'd the prequel, so it just felt very redundant. I have not read the sequel novel. I know that there are mixed feelings about the sequel novel, but I'm kind of interested in reading the sequel novel. But yeah, anyway, at least for the first one, I can say that it is well worth the read. Next is All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This is a post-apocalyptic dystopian novel about these two boys who meet in the wastelands of America and they decide to join up because, well, two against the world is better than one against the world, essentially. You watch my back, I watch your back, we're good. And they are traveling across the wastelands of America, looking out for each other and all that, and developing a friendship, and then developing something more, of course. And I have to say that this is very, very good. If you do love post-apocalyptic novels, you will love this. You really, really will. You really, really will. And also, I have to say the romance is very cute, it's very well done, and it honestly got me to like miscommunication. This was the first ever time that I liked miscommunication because listen, miscommunication is by far my least favorite trope. Well, maybe not by far. It's one of my least favorite tropes. Let's just say that. I hate miscommunication because in most novels and most TV shows and most movies, it goes along the lines of like, somebody's behind a wall and they overhear part of a conversation that they weren't supposed to hear, and then they like get in their feelings and run away before they hear the rest of the conversation that makes whatever that they thought was going on, not happen or whatever, blah blah blah. Like that kind of stuff, like that kind of miscommunication. I hate that. Like it's really dumb. But like this doesn't do that. This is really, really like, you know what? Um, okay. I'm catching feelings. I'm catching feelings. However, I don't know if this person reciprocates. And I really don't want to mess everything up if they don't, because if they don't like me back, then it's going to get really awkward and we probably are gonna split up, and I don't want to fight for my life on my own. So I'm gonna bottle up my feelings for my if, to myself. I'm gonna keep that stuff to myself, and I'm just gonna let it eat me alive. It's kind of that, and it's so juicy, it's so entertaining, it's so fun, and like overall, it is just very sweet and caring and all that kind of stuff, and also fair rather intense. I will say that there were moments where I was like, the heart was pounding a little bit of like, oh my God, bad things are happening, which, for a post-apocalyptic novel, that is kind of what you want. Like you kind of want the heart pounding, like, oh God, we're in danger. We're in danger, girl, kind of moments. So this does deliver on that. Now, the sequel, I would say if you are head over heels for this novel by the end of it, go read the sequel. If you're not, if you just like it, don't read the sequel. Don't read the sequel because the sequel's not that good. I'm so sorry. The sequel is not that good. The sequel, it's something. It's something. Let's just say that it's something. But this one, the first novel, very, very good. Very, very good. If you love post-apocalyptic novels, go read this. Put it on your radar right now, honey. Now let's move on to the Sapphic recommendations, starting with A Bond Me for Two by Trinity Nguyen. I am sorry if I pronounce her last name wrong. So this contemporary romance novel is about these two girls. One lives in Vietnam and the other is traveling to Vietnam on a like student exchange program sort of thing. And the one girl who lives in Vietnam, she runs a food blog, but she hasn't really like updated it in forever, because she's really, depressed. She is still dealing with the grief of her father that has passed recently, and she is, trying to like figure out, like her life and everything, trying to figure out what she wants and everything, trying to get out of this funk essentially. And she just like really can't figure out how to see the joy in life once again. Like everything's like a dark rain cloud to her right now. And the girl who is traveling to Vietnam from America, she is on this like student exchange program and she is coming to Vietnam to find her lost family that her mother has never told her about, never has wanted to tell her about. She's always wanted to know about her family. Her mother has always been like, no, you don't, leave that in the past. Like, like I immigrated over here for a reason. Like, like leave Vietnam behind. And the girl is like, I'm going to go over there. Sorry, mom. Like, I need to go find my aunties and my grandma and my cousins and everything. Like, I want to know my people. So they meet up and they are like, huh, you're cool. I want to help you and I want to help you. Like, You're interesting. I kind of like you. You've got a good vibe to you. Now, I will say I do think that even though this is technically a romance novel, it shouldn't really be classified as a romance novel because I feel like the romance is not really the point of this novel. The point of this novel is much more about like family legacy, history, culture, figuring out what you want in life and all that kind of stuff. And, overcoming like hardships and everything, like that sort of stuff. It's kind of hard to describe, but like that sort of stuff. So the romance kind of comes secondary in my opinion. So yeah, but I will say, these two are very interesting. These two characters are very interesting to follow. I really did like following them, and I liked following their journeys, both solo and individually. Like, it's just very, really, really interesting. And it is kind of interesting how they like had the same a similar arc, but in very, very different ways. Like they both had to figure out how to grapple with their culture, their family, and everything to figure out, how do we take stuff from the past and move forward? How do we continue to move forward and build something new with our own lives and stuff like that. It was really, really interesting. So yeah, I really do like this novel, and I think you will too. Next is I Kissed Shara Wheeler by Casey McQuiston. Now, this contemporary novel is about the disappearance of the most popular girl in school, and she left behind like these little notes and everything to like, like her ex-boyfriend, her current boyfriend, and this random chick that she has always had beef with. And the random chick is like, now why am I in it? Why am I here? Like, okay, you ran away, you disappeared into the night. Why am I in it? Like, we hate each other. Now, granted, we made out one time, but that shouldn't matter, Like, okay, whatever. But, like, so the main girl is like really weirded out by this whole thing, and she's like, okay, you know what? No, no, you are not just going to run away and give me this fuck ass note telling me whatever. You're not going to do that to me. You need to come back here and explain why the fuck you are involving me in your shitty ass disappearance. Come here. I need an explanation. So come hell or high water, I'm going to find you and I'm going to make you give me an explanation as to why I am suddenly involved in your drama and personal life and love life and all this shit. It's fun, it's fun, it's fun. If you are wanting like a literary masterpiece, don't read this because, girl, it's not meant to be like a literary masterpiece. It's meant to be like a fun, coming of age slash mystery slash funny slash romance novel and stuff like that. So if that sounds like your kind of vibe, like you want just like lighthearted, fun, funny, carefree, like all that kind of stuff, a little bit of mystery, a little bit of romance and stuff like that, give this a shot. Next is Cinderella is Dead by Callan Bayron. Now, this fantasy novel, this is so good, y'all. Oh my God, just I have to say that right off the bat. I freaking love this. Like Cinderella is one of my favorite characters of all time. She always has been. She's always been my favorite Disney princess. Like she really, really has been, and she always will be. And I just love most every Cinderella retelling. So of course I had to read this when it came out. But anyway. So something goes terribly wrong on the night of the ball, and she has to run away into the night where she meets someone very intriguing, aka the last living descendant of Cinderella's stepsisters. Anyway, someone on Goodreads described this best as Black Cinderella meets Merida, and together they take down the patriarchy. That's basically the gist of this novel, and that perfectly sums up this novel, and I love it. I'm sorry, this was so much fun. I'm so sorry. I read this like years ago in like 2021, 2022, something like that, but it was just so much freaking fun. It really, really is. If you are somebody who just wants like fantasy, romance, kind of camp, and also some girl power, go read this. You will have a blast. Next, we move on to the trans section of this video, starting with Next is Most Ardently by Gabe Cole Nuova. Now, this is basically Pride and Prejudice, but Elizabeth is a trans boy. That's the gist of it. I freaking loved this. Now, I actually read this before I read Pride and Prejudice, and so I didn't have like the original to compare it to or anything. I just took it as it is, and I freaking had a blast with it. I'm sorry, I did. Is it exactly a like 100% faithful adaptation of Pride and Prejudice? No, it's not, but it's fun. It's fun. It puts a unique spin on the novel. It really, really does. I think you will honestly have a blast with this, especially if you are a trans teenager. I do think that you will, in some instances, with like the discussion that this has about like identity and everything and like moving throughout the world as like a trans kid and everything, I think you will feel seen in this. I think you will. Now, I'm not trans myself. I'm cisgendered. Technically, I'm non-binary because like I'm a demi boy, but like, you know, anyway. But like so I'm not trans, but like I feel like, you know, for the trans people out there, you probably will see yourself in this. I don't know. I don't know. I'm assuming. Anyway, but yes, it's very good. It's very nice. I love the romance. I love the plot. I love the writing. It is just very good and very fun and very wholesome. Next is The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. Now, this is a fantasy novel about this competition where every 10 years these kids are selected by the gods to compete on reality TV, basically in these like trials and everything. And the winner of the trials will become the new like protector of the land, and they will be gifted with the honor of like recharging these like powerful gem sunstone energy balls and like bringing them to all the temples around the world so that they can all like continue to be lit and protect the world against evil forces and everything. And the loser of said trials will be sacrificed in order to empower the like sunstone gemstone magical balls, you know. So that's very, very fun. So it's like, you know, you better not come in last place, honey. You better not come in last place or else you're getting chopped, literally. But all of the competitors are demigods, and there are like hierarchies to the demigods, and normally the competitors are all exclusively the like top and premium demigods, you know, not like the lesser demigods that like nobody really cares about, like the top end ones. But like this year, the main character is chosen, and he is one of the like lesser demigods, and he's like, okay, so like everybody else here can like make plants grow. Everybody else can like, I don't know, use fire magic and everything, and I can talk to birds. Great, great, great. Love that. Okay, so I'm probably gonna die, right? No, I don't want to die. Anyway, so that is basically the gist of this novel, and I have to say, it is so much fun. It was one of my favorite reads when I read this, and I have to say, it's just, if you honestly like Hunger Games, you will probably like this. If you want like a slightly younger version of Hunger Games, kind of go for this because it kind of does have that I feel like a similar energy of like all these teenagers competing in these trials on reality TV with the loser getting death and the winner becoming like a famous celebrity with like riches and gold and everything. So it's kind of like Hunger Games in that way. You know, obviously it's not as like uh serious and everything like that. So I would honestly say like if you have like a little sibling, like someone who's around like 13, 14 or something, and they like want Hunger Games or something, but like your parents are like, that's a little violent. That's a little violent. Like we can't have Tommy reading that. Like that's a little violent for him. No. Give this to him instead. Give this to the little sibling instead because it's kind of got the same energy, but it's like, you know, not as violent and everything. So I will just say that it's so much fun. I freaking love this novel, and I just really like the world. I like the writing. I like the lore. The lore is so much fun, y'all. It really, really is. The plot is exciting. The characters are fun. At least the main three, the main like three to four, are interesting. The others just kind of like blend into the background a little bit, low key, low key. But also the romance is really rather cute. So yes, I will just say that. Now there is a sequel to this one, and the sequel's not that good, but if you do love this one, I will recommend to go read the sequel just to, you know, finish out the story and everything. But yeah, just manage your expectations for the sequel. But this one, really, really good. Really, really good. And also, especially if you are wanting like a queer normal world, like if you want like an escape from our hellish reality where there are like 5 billion anti-queer bills coming and passing every single day, if you want to escape into a world where it's just like, oh yeah, you're trans. Okay, that's cool. Yay, we all love that. Oh, yeah, you're gay. Love that. Cool. Like nobody has an issue. Nobody has an issue. Everybody's loving, everybody's accepting, everybody's all that kind of stuff. Like if you want like that kind of escape into a fantasy world like that, you should go read this because it is exactly that. And finally, we have come to the honorable mention section of this video. Now, I classify these as honorable mentions because I wouldn't exactly say that they are queer novels, but they've got notable queerness in them to where I would say they are queer adjacent. Let me explain. Let me explain in detail what I mean by that with these recommendations. So the first one I will say is Legendborn by Tracy Dion. Now, this one I say is queer adjacent because it is very normalized with queerness and everything, and there is like a prominent side character that is gay, and he gets into a relationship at some point. He's like part of the core friend group. He's one of the main friends of the group. There are like these lesbian aunties that everybody loves and are like like the primary caregivers of everybody in this novel. But anyway, this novel is about this girl. She is going to this like university, even though she is in high school. It's the whole thing. Anyway, she's going to this university, and she on her first night there sees these demons, and she's like, "What demons? Are you serious? No." No, that's weird. That's weird. That's weird. That's freaky. And she sees these like Merlin wizard people dealing with the demons, and she's like, okay, so there's demons, and there's people who fight the demons. Okay, that's cool. I want to know about that. I want to know about that. Let me go investigate. Let me go be nosy. So she goes and be nosy about these like demon hunting wizard people, and she finds out that like, hold on, they kind of are sketchy people. They're kind of like Illuminati-esque, and they might have had something to do with my mother's death last year. Oh, now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. Okay, now I want to investigate. Now I want to infiltrate these hoes because I need my revenge. Because if y'all really did do something to my mother, oh, I'm getting nasty. I'm getting nasty with y'all. So that's kind of the gist of this novel. That's kind of the essence of the first novel going into it, and I have to say it's one of my favorite series of all time. It is one of my favorite series of all time. The writing, the characterization, the plot, the discussions, the lore of everything. This series gets better as it goes on. I don't know how Tracy Dion does it, but like every single novel somehow is like equally amazing. They really, really are. The quality in every single which way continues to like be retained. It never goes down ever, ever, ever. And I'm so freaking excited for book 4. I really am. So yeah, if you love like Black girl empowerment, if you love like all kinds of like magic and everything, if you love like discussions of like, seriousness, serious topics of the world, especially surrounding like racism and everything and like family legacy and all that kind of stuff. And also if you love an actual love triangle, like an actual love triangle, not just two boys fighting over the same girl, but like two boys fighting over the same girl and kind of fighting for each other also. Like like that's kind of what this like that's kind of the vibe of the love triangle. You will like this. You will really like this. And finally, we have Ace of Shades by Amanda Foody. Now, this fantasy novel is about this girl who comes to this like Las Vegas-esque city to find her missing mother. And she's like, Miss Prim and Proper, Miss Innocent, never gotten in trouble in her life or anything, whatever. So she's like, oh my God, like, okay. I'm scared. I'm scared. There's like all these gangsters and everything. Oh my God. Like I'm just Miss Glinda over here. I'm not built for this. I'm not built for this. So I'm being dramatic. I'm being dramatic. She's not annoying like that. She's actually really fun. Anyway, but all she has to go off of to find her mother is this like postcard that says like find this boy, find this like boy gangster leader basically. And so she finds the boy gangster leader, and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't know who the fuck your mother is. I'm so sorry, girl, but like, oh well. But you know what? You are poor and helpless and innocent, and also you're kind of hot. So come on, I will help you. Yes, I will help you. So why not? So that is kind of the gist of this novel, and I will say it's so freaking good. This trilogy is so freaking good. It is so amazing. Now, I put this on Queer Adjacent because mostly A, I just really liked it, but also B, the main male character is bisexual, and I don't mean bisexual in a mean in like, it's just like a thing that's like, oh, it's a tick on the box. Like he actually, like we actually do see him within a relationship with a guy for a majority of the second novel. Ultimately, I will say the main endgame ship is male and female, but we do have a bisexual main character. I think there are a few other queer characters. I think that there's a lesbian here. I'm not exactly sure. I think there's a non-binary person here. I'm not exactly sure. It's been years since I've read this. I've read these books in like 2021 basically. So it's been a while, but I do remember that the relationship with the main girl and the main guy is very messy, and the main guy does go off and date another guy for a majority of the second novel at one point, and it gets really messy, and I was just like, oh, I love this. It is so freaking messy with the relationship stuff, and also the lore and the world is so freaking cool. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, here's the thing. If you are somebody who really likes, I don't know, like the world building of like maybe like Carvel or something, or like just something along those lines, you will freaking love the world building because the world building is just kooky, it's fun, it's out there, and it's just magical. Like every single description is full of magic, and it's just like, oh, I'm so excited to keep peeling back the layers of this world and figuring out what's going on, and all these people and all these like gang wars and everything. Like this is just so much fun. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So anyway, that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, then please give it a like, subscribe, and comment your thoughts on these books or any other recommendations, any other young adult recommendations for queer books to read during Pride Month. Please leave them down in the comments down below. And I think that is about it. So yeah, I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!